So we're doing this interview to discuss your Mexico experience. So first of all, what's your name?
Clarissa Martinez.
So where'd you go to high school?
Mount Miguel.
Mount Miguel. So did you play water polo at Mount Miguel?
Yes, for 1 year.
For 1 year? Or one season? And how was your experience with that?
It was fun, a little not that harsh.
What do you mean by harsh?
It wasn't very much pushing. My coach wasn't very like, go, go, go. Like, she was one of the only coaches that would just sit and just scream. She didn't really care.
So you're kind of looking at that season in retrospect. But during the season in high school, what did you think of the sport of water polo?
I really liked it. I'd never done it before. I never tried it. So it was something different.
So were you a swimmer before?
Yeah, for 3 years before.
What differentiates water polo and swimming?
Well, it's more aggressive. There's more. You have to have more effort, more dedication into water polo. In swim, you're just swimming back and forth. In water polo, you're playing with a team. You have a team. You have to make a team effort. And in swim, you're just by yourself, making your own, having to be your own times, trying to make your own records. And in water polo, it's like, we win, not I win.
So, when the details came out about joining water polo, the club of San Diego International, at first, what were the early feelings that you had about joining club versus high school?
I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been in a club before. I didn't know if it was maybe going to be easier, if it was going to be harder, because I'd never been around any water polo players. It's always just been swim. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I knew that I wanted to try something new and something that I've never done before.
So, what motivated you to try something new? What drew you to the club, or why did you decide to seek an outside entity, an outside team versus your high school? Why did you want to continue? What was it that you wanted to do?
Well, in water polo, it's not really like, it's more about competition. It's like, oh, we made it into CIF, good. Or, oh, we won, good. But here it's like, we want to make you better. Like, we want you to succeed. In water polo, it's just like, oh, you did good for this season, good for you. Next season, are you going to be good or not?
So, one of the things that we discussed at the beginning when we first met was the potential of having what do you call it? Opportunities in the future, whether it be college or here locally or internationally. So when I first presented the idea of participating in Mexico water polo with Baja Sur, what was your initial reaction as far as the whole thought of traveling and that's not only is it new, but it's a little intimidating. So, what were some of the initial feelings that you had about international play?
I was pretty excited at first when I first heard about it. It was just like, wow, like this is happening. This is what I want to do, and this is where it's taking me. So it was just like, I was thinking about it, like, you don't really know what to expect, you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know anything, and you just have to be open-minded about it and be like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I was pretty excited. It was pretty exciting. It was kind of nerve-wracking because I didn't know what to expect, but at the same time, that's what brought the excitement into it, because I didn't know.
So part of the excitement is not knowing what to expect, and it's like an adventure.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know what's going to happen, but you're excited to do it. What's more exciting if you could choose? The opportunity to play in another country or the traveling portion?
It's a little of both. I mean, you get to travel like as I did, but you don't really get to see anything. I mean, you might have a free day or anything, but you have to understand that when you're there, it's water polo. You're there for water polo. You're not there to travel. So I guess I was more excited about playing in another country than like seeing how they manage the game in other places and how it's played, like different scenarios of the game.
A lot of people, especially in the United States, don't recognize or don't comprehend the excitement that water polo is in Mexico. Mexico is known to be a soccer country. They do have baseball and highlight and other sports, but water polo is not really known. So before we discuss your whole journey, what did you notice about Mexican water polo?
It's very competitive. It's very different, as in they take it far more seriously because they know that it's not a very like attention catching sport. So they know like we have to do better, like we have to do good because we have to grab that attention. So it's like, I don't know, it's like it's so much different because I think they understand that it's not a big sport. It's all about like soccer and all that. So they take it very seriously. They get mad, they cry, and it's just like you don't really see that here. They don't understand how much of a big deal it is to them.
So they have a passion for it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your journey a little bit. So unfortunately, I couldn't go with you, or any of the coaches couldn't go with you. Your mom couldn't even go with you. As a matter of fact, you traveled by yourself. So how was everything arranged from the moment you started packing your bags to the day you met your team? Take us through step by step of how everything went on that one day.
Well, I got home from school and my mom was like, okay, make a checklist of everything you need to do and everything you need to get, everything you have, or if there's anything that you need. So I made it, I packed my bags, we went to the store, grabbed a couple of things. She was kind of talking to me like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Like having that like protective mama bear kind of thing. She's like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you're gonna be okay? Because I've never traveled by myself. I've never been anywhere by myself. So she was kind of nervous. I was nervous. She was kind of making me even more nervous by asking me like, are you sure? So everything was packed. Everything was good. I went to sleep. I woke up kind of like I couldn't really sleep in the night, kind of thinking like, okay, you're gonna leave, you're gonna do this, and I didn't know what to expect. I was like anxious to meet my team, anxious to just get there and get it over with. So I woke up, drove down to the airport, got that smooches and I'm gonna miss you. And it was kind of like nerve-wracking to see like finally walking away and knowing from that point on you're not going to have your mom, you're not going to have that person to take care of you. Like you're by yourself. Like you have to learn how to be by yourself. And there was a lot of people. It was like really just overwhelming. Got on the plane. Luckily I didn't have anybody sitting with me, so I didn't have to go through the whole like, oh, can I do this, can I do that, would this bother you? So I fell asleep for a little bit. It's kind of uncomfortable, kind of a bumpy ride. I was nervous the fact that when I was going to land, maybe I wasn't going to find my team, maybe my team was going to leave me, maybe my coach wasn't going to be there yet. But I got off the plane, went to my bag checkout, and there was two girls standing there, and I didn't know who they were, but they were just kind of staring at me. So I was kind of staring at them too, and then they were like, Clarissa. And then at that point I knew, like, okay, I'm okay, like my team didn't leave me, I'm fine. And then from there, we got on the bus from Guadalajara to Aguascalientes, and it was a pretty long ride, but I kind of used that time to get to know my team, even though it's kind of late. I kind of used that time to get to know my team and like know what, like, the minors and the majors, like know who was actually my team. They were really nice. They explained everything to me, all my game, like all how everything was gonna work. And they were just telling me, like, you could, like, they knew I guess I kind of gave off that impression that I was nervous. So they were just like, it's gonna be okay, like you're gonna do this and this, and we're gonna get to practice, like one practice before we play. So because I was asking them, like, I don't know your terms, I don't know your plays, I don't know anything, and they were just like, oh, it's gonna be fine. And since I've played with 6 players on the pool and they play with only 5, they have different setups, and it was just really like, okay, I really don't want to mess up. Like, that's the only thing that was going through my head. Like, am I going to be bad? Am I going to be good? But they were really nice, and they were really helpful with everything. So it didn't really, like, overwhelm me as much as I thought. And that's when more of the excitement started kicking in, and the nervousness just kind of died down.
How long did it take you to build trust in your teammates and coaches? How long did you feel how long did it take? Hours, days, till you felt comfortable to just be yourself around these people?
On the bus, I got to know about 2 girls, the girls that were sitting next to me. So around them, like, it was very quick, and plus I got to stay in the same hotel room as them. So it was very quick, it was very welcoming, it was warm. So I talked to the coach a little bit before we went to sleep. Excuse me. And it took me about, to get to know the rest of my team, it took me about like a day of the practice. And then the coach took me aside to talk to me, like, explain, just ask me, like, how do you feel, are you okay? Like, do you need anything? Do you have any questions? And I did ask a little bit of questions, but then it was more like in the trainings and in like the pre-games where I actually got to like know the person more individually. Like, okay, this person does this and this person does that. And so it pretty much just took like a day, the first day that I actually got in the pool to get to know and get close to everything.
Our first conversation over the phone, you seemed okay. You seemed you were comfortable, but I've been coaching 16 years, and I noticed that there was something in your voice that was frustrated, sad, like you wanted to cry, like you were angry. I'm an excellent judge of tone. I didn't want to bring it up at that time because when you discuss negative things and you're not there to comfort the person, it's really hard. So I didn't bring it up, so I kind of just talked about something else the next day. But you were frustrated based on the fact that you couldn't contribute. You felt a little helpless, you felt confused, and you felt, it sounds bad, but you sounded like you felt worthless. What is to blame? How do you fix that? Because when I hung up the phone, I had the belief that it's not, I think I actually said it to you, it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you've never been trained. It's not your fault that you've never been introduced to this. And it's not your fault you've never had the mentoring to even get to this level. I've known you for 3 weeks and I threw you to the wolves. So it's kind of like a parent throwing their kid in the water to learn how to swim. That's exactly what I did to you. So the way I look at it, you took it very well. But what would you blame, or what would you fix, or what needs to change here, especially at Mount Miguel, or especially within our district? What needs to change to prepare kids to even remotely come close to that experience?
Discipline. Like, it's all discipline. It's all having to know what you have to do, when you have to do it, and why you have to do it. Well, it's not even why. Like, don't even ask why. You just do it. Like, you have to understand that everything your coach, even though it seems stupid, like everything your coaches tell you, it's for a reason. Like, I realized that what you told me, what my coaches before have told me, it all comes into play in such a high-stake game. You just have to learn to discipline yourself. It was just, what would have to change is yourself, not really anything that the coaches do. It's just having to, it's all discipline. I don't know another way to put it.
Would it be fair to say that the coaches in our zone, in our area, have the responsibility to not necessarily introduce this level, but train kids to be competitive, train kids to comprehend this type of competition? Because at the beginning of the interview, you said that your practices were passive, your coach was not intense, you didn't have that discipline. And so, do you think the coaches have some accountability as far as, why am I not prepared for this?
Definitely. When a coach just doesn't push you, when they don't yell at you, like, you might think, oh, my coach is so mean. But the meaner the coaches are, the better they are. The more they yell at you, the more they push you, like, it's better. It's just better for you, and it's better for the team. But, like, a coach has to be pretty much like your motivation. Like, they have to push you, they have to be aggressive with you, they have to, like, make you into the player that you have to be.
As we had conversations over the phone, I noticed that every day got better, which was great. The beginning of the first day that I talked to you, you went from depressed to the last day I talked to you. You felt comfortable, you felt happy, even though you guys didn't win that many games, or any games. I don't remember. What did you leave with? When you did this, when we first met, one of the first things I told you was, this is going to change you. These next 4 or 5 days is going to change your life. Did it change your life, and how?
I left pretty motivated and inspired because I want to be at their level. So it changed me in the fact that now I have, like, that incentive or that motivation to be at the same level as all those other girls. Even try to be better, try to be not be an anchor, not holding them down, but like actually helping, contributing to the team. So what I left with was motivation.
So, to someone who is about to do this journey for the first time, and this is what the video is for someone who is about to do this for the very first time, what would be the three pieces of advice that you would give them? If you could name 3, what would be the first 3 things that you would tell them?
Don't be nervous. Rest as much as you can. And listen.
So we have about 2 months to prepare you. I can only imagine that the final is going to be more explosive. And being that you guys were so close to winning some games, they could be easily turned around in your favor. So the next 2 months, what do you see? What do you predict your training to be?
Harsh. A lot of what I need to work on. Just a lot of practice.
Do you love water polo now? All right. All right. Well, thank you, Clarissa.